Hey guys, Robert Maxwell with the Man Factory, and today I want to talk to you about the importance of deload weeks. I happen to be in the middle of a workout right now, and that workout is in fact a deload workout. What a deload workout is a workout that's quite a bit lighter and easier than your regular training sessions that you do every so often. In my case, I do it every 5 weeks. Some people do it more often, some people do it less, but for those who want to train successfully long-term for strength and muscle and health and vitality, deload weeks really are a must. The reason is that if you train to full intensity all the time, you'll probably make rapid progress at first, but eventually you will almost certainly become overtrained and put yourself at increased risk of overuse injuries. Sometimes these can be severe enough that you can't do an entire exercise for months. Sometimes they keep you from the gym entirely, and trust me, as someone who's interested in strength and fitness, this is not a fun place to be. There are lots of different ways, different approaches to add deload weeks to your own training routine. Some involve doing the same amount of reps and sets as your regular training schedule, but just with half as much weight, so that the overall workload is a lot less. Other techniques involve doing the same sort of weight, same sort of intensity for each set, but just doing half the number of sets, so that total volume of training is decreased by 50%. For myself, I tend to use a hybrid approach of the two of these. For today's workout, for example, which is a deload workout for me, I'm doing deadlift as my main lift and some accessory movements as well. Normally on the deadlift, I would use quite a bit more than 315 pounds for the sets of 10 repetitions that I'm doing today. So this is somewhat lighter than what I'd normally use, which makes it easier in one way, but I'm also doing only 2 sets, 2 working sets that is, not counting my warm-up sets. Normally I'd do 4 or 5 working sets, so this is lighter in weight and the overall training volume is less on my deload weeks. Some people might think that this makes it too easy since I'm kind of coming at the deload thing from both parameters, weight and volume. But for myself, deload weeks, which I personally do every 4 or 5 weeks, are really important to fully recover, to make sure that I'm not at increased risk for stress injuries and overtraining injuries. So I take deload weeks seriously. And sometimes that means doing less, even when I want to do more. Moving on to my accessory exercises on today's deload workout, one of which is leg curls. Again, I'm decreasing overall training intensity from both parameters, doing about half the weight I normally would, in this case about 90 pounds, and overall less training volume as well, so dropping one of the sets I would normally do during a regular training session. As I said, some lifters would consider this too easy, even for a deload session, lowering the weight and decreasing overall training volume, overall number of repetitions, but as I mentioned, I have found a properly restful deload week every 5 weeks, in my case, to be absolutely essential for me to make sure that I'm not increasing training volume and intensity to the point where it exceeds my body's ability to recover. And that really is the bottom line to long-term strength training. It's not about zeal or diving in and tearing your body to shreds. That approach will only bring you pain, suffering, and ultimately failure if you keep it up. Just finding a way that is enough of a challenge for your body to make good progress while still being sustainable. That's the key I have found, and deload weeks of this style that I've described to you allow me to do that. So there you have it. My personal thoughts on deload weeks and why they're important for every serious strength trainee to incorporate, and my own techniques for my deload weeks as I fit them into my own training. Hope you found this interesting and helpful, and I'll see you next time.